Deathbringer Saurfang, and my name is Drunden. I'm going to give you some key points for this fight. Hopefully it'll help you be able to down Saurfang and allow you to know a little bit more about the fight and what you need to watch for in your specific position. I'll start off with tanks. Basically tanks, what you guys need to be doing is the old ping pong tanking, similar to what you would do with Gluth or any other kind of boss where you have to taunt off one another. The debuff you guys need to be watching for is Rune of Blood. Once a tank receives that, they need to be taunted off of. This debuff can only be put on one tank at a time, so there is no hesitation. Once the tank receives it, the other tank should be taunting off of them and basically just ping pong the boss back and forth. If the boss is hitting a tank with this debuff, it will heal him. So you want to make sure that whoever has aggro does not have the debuff Rune of Blood. The other thing you guys need to be watching for is the ads. They'll periodically be spawning through the fight, and you basically just don't AoE during that time. You do not want to aggro these mobs. They are the range DPS's priority. They will take care of them. You do not have to worry about them. Other than that, that's pretty much it for you guys. So tanks, again, ping pong the boss. Don't let him be hitting you when you got Rune of Blood, and you're A-okay. Melee DPS. Your job basically is just to DPS the boss. I mean, it can't get any simpler than that. When the ads spawn, there's a couple things you need to watch for. One, if you are a melee DPS that depends on AoE for your DPS, you need to watch your AoE. So if you're a warrior, watch your whirlwind, watch your cleave. You don't want to be doing this. You do not want to aggro those ads. If you're a death knight, don't drop death and decay, because again, you don't want to aggro these ads. When these ads hit us, it gives the boss blood power points, and that equals bad mojo for the raid. So try not to aggro the ads when they do spawn. And another thing you guys can do when the ads spawn is if you have a stunning effect, or if you have a slow poison, any kind of slowing possibly that you may have, use it. Definitely use it in this fight. I think this fight would be one of those good fights for that warrior ability that actually reduces the movement of mobs by 50% that seem to no longer be of use, but looks like it could be in this one. But that's pretty much all you guys have to do is just stay on the boss, watch the ads when they spawn, don't get aggro of them, try to help the range out and slow them down a little bit. Range DPS, you guys basically have the brunt of the fight. I mean, you guys are gonna be taking the ads down. Every time they spawn, you got to be on top of them. Again, they're affected by slowing effects, stun effects, so drop frost traps, do your frost novas, do your totems, do your knockbacks and pushbacks, do whatever you can to keep the mob away from you, and that way you can kill it before it ever reaches you. If it gets close to you, kite it, but remember, don't kite out of your healer's range. That's bad news. You kite out of the range, it's not the healer's fault, it's your fault. Once the ads are down, though, you resume DPS on the boss, and like I said, it's a rinse and repeat phase. But you really need to be focused when the ads spawn and make sure that they go down very fast. Healers, you guys are, this is where you shine. If it wasn't for the healers, this fight could not be possible. It's a very heal intensive fight. Some things that you guys need to be watching for is a debuff called Blood Nova, and basically he'll be casting it on, it's more of an attack, but he casts it on a random raid member throughout the fight. This is why the raid has to basically be spread out 10 yards from each other in a crescent formation. If you look at the map in your right top hand corner, you can see how we're basically all spread out. 10 yards is what you need to be spread out. But he'll cast it on him. It's an AoE. It does some moderate damage. It does need to be healed through. As long as everybody's spread out, it's only going to affect one person. If people are bunched up, it's obviously going to affect multiple targets. So make sure to stay spread out. The other debuff that he casts on a random raid member throughout the fight is Boiling Blood. It's a damage over time that needs to be healed through. Some classes can get out of it by Divine Shield or Ice Block. Otherwise, it's going to have to be healed through. If by chance Saurfang does reach 100 blood power buff, he will cast on a random raid member Mark of the Fallen Champion. This debuff is a very heal intensive debuff. It remains on the raid member until the fight is over, and it also persists through death. So if they die and are resurrected by battle res or ink, the debuff will remain on them. But what this debuff does is it damages the person with the mark for 5,000 points of damage for every time that Saurfang hits somebody. So it basically is taking the healer spot for the second tank, since only one tank is taking damage at a time, really. You can have, probably through the fight, 2 to 3 raid members and still be able to complete the fight. But if you get about 4 raid members with that mark, good luck. I hope you can do it, but it's going to be close. This is really a DPS race. Basically DPS down the ads as quick as possible, get your ranged DPS back on the boss and burn him down. Make sure that the tanks ping-pong the boss so he's not healing himself, and make sure that the ads aren't hitting anyone so he doesn't get blood power points. You do those things, you got a dead Saurfang. So I hope this video helps everybody. I hope I enlightened you maybe in a few things. And if you need any help, if you need any assistance or advice or anything on maybe what you can do in this specific fight for your class, feel free to give me a holler, and I'll help you the best I can, or I'll point you to someone who can help you better than I can.